You've probably heard of Adam Smith's The Wealth of Nations, right? It sounds like some dusty old book from, well, 1776. But what if I told you it's not a book, it's a code? It's the 200-year-old operating system for our entire modern economic world. And once you get it, everything starts to make a lot more sense.
Yeah, I know what you're thinking. A guy in a powdered wig from 1776? What's he going to teach me about my life? With AI and crypto and everything happening right now. Turns out, pretty much everything. Because this code he laid out, it answers the real-world economic questions you're probably wrestling with today. Things like, why is my rent so ridiculously high? Or, why do some jobs pay so much more than others? What even is a good career choice anymore? All the logic you need to start figuring this out, it's right here in his work. All right, so to crack this code, we gotta start at the very beginning and tackle a massive misconception. And that is, what is real wealth? Seriously, it's probably not what you think, because for centuries, pretty much everyone got this completely wrong. So back in Smith's day, the big idea was something called mercantilism. The thinking was a nation's wealth was measured by how much gold and silver it had piled up in a vault. Think of 16th century Spain, hauling these massive shiploads of silver from the Americas, thinking they were on top of the world. But Smith comes along and points out this huge, obvious flaw. You can't eat gold. A country could have a mountain of treasure, but if its people don't have food, clothes, or houses, they're not rich, they're actually poor. And this is where he just flipped the whole thing on its head. He said, no, no, no. True wealth, that's the stuff a nation's people can actually produce and use. This is what he called real wealth. It's the tangible stuff, right? The food in your fridge, the phone in your hand, the roof over your head. Money, what he called nominal wealth, that's just the tool. It's the go-between to get the real stuff. Think about it. If a country just prints a ton more money but doesn't actually make more goods, what happens? You're not richer, you just get inflation. Suddenly your money buys less and your real wealth actually goes down. Okay, so if getting rich as a nation means producing more stuff, the billion-dollar question is, how? How do you actually do that? Well, Smith pinpointed this one single powerful engine of productivity that just changed the entire game. And it's called the division of labor. And he explains this with a super famous example, a pin factory. So picture this. You've got one worker all by himself. He's got to make a simple little metal pin from scratch. That means he has to do everything. Draw out the wire, straighten it, snip it, sharpen the point, stick the little head on top, the whole shebang. So this one guy, working as hard as he possibly can all day, he might be able to make, 20 pins? Maybe? That's it. 20 pins. Just remember that number. Okay, now let's change just one thing. We're going to bring in a team of 10 workers. But here's the absolute key. Instead of each person doing all the steps, each person specializes in just one or two parts of the process. So you've got one guy who only draws the wire all day, another person who only cuts it, a third who does nothing but sharpen the points. And the results? It's insane. That little team of 10 people can now crank out, wait for it, 48,000 pins in one day. That's not 10 times more productive. That's a 240 times increase in productivity per worker. It's an absolute explosion. This is the engine of wealth he was talking about. So why on earth does this work so incredibly well? Smith boils it down to 3 really simple reasons. First, skill. Practice makes perfect, right? You do one tiny thing thousands of times, you become ridiculously fast and good at it. Second, you save time. No more wasting minutes switching between different tools or walking across the workshop. And third, and this one is huge, innovation. When your entire world is just sharpening pinpoints, you're going to start dreaming up little gadgets and machines to make your one job even easier. Specialization is what drives invention. Okay, awesome. So specialization creates this gigantic mountain of pins. But now the pin maker has way more pins than he could ever use in a million years. But he still needs to, eat dinner. So how do we get from just making a bunch of stuff to actually trading it in a way that works? Yeah, think about it. If you're a farmer who only grows wheat and you need a new shirt, you've got to wander around until you find a tailor who not only has a shirt your size, but who also just so happens to be hungry for wheat right now. It's called the double coincidence of wants.
and it's a total nightmare. Bartering is just way too clunky to support a big, complex economy.
And that is where money steps in. See, money isn't wealth itself. It's the crucial technology that lets the whole system run. It's a universal connector. The farmer can just sell his wheat to anyone for cash, and then take that cash to any tailor he wants to buy a shirt. Money is like the oil that lubricates the entire engine of specialization.
All right, so we've got goods and we've got money to trade them. This leads us to the next big piece of the code. How is the price of anything at all, actually decided? What's really hiding inside that price tag? Let's take something we all know, like your morning coffee. According to Smith, that $5 price tag is really just a mix of three basic things. First, you're paying for wages. That's everybody from the farmer who grew the beans to the barista who foamed your milk. Next, you're paying for the cafe owner's profit. And finally, you're paying for the rent on that cool little spot the cafe is in. Pretty much every price for everything is just some combination of those three.
But then Smith makes this really brilliant distinction. There's the natural price. That's the baseline, right? The actual rock bottom cost to cover the wages, rent, and a fair profit. But then there's the market price, which is what you actually pay. And that price bounces around based on supply and demand. A perfect example is watermelons. In the middle of summer, they're everywhere. Supply is high, so the market price drops down close to that natural price. But try buying a watermelon in December. Supply is super scarce, and that market price is going to shoot way up. The key is that the market price always eventually swings back towards that natural price, kind of like a pendulum.
Okay, so we've covered wealth, how we make stuff, and how we price it. Now we get to the really good part. How does all this 200-year-old code, actually apply to your life, right here, right now? This brings us to his most famous and maybe most misunderstood idea: the invisible hand. Look, this is not about being greedy. It's much simpler. It's the idea that when a baker works hard to bake the best bread she can, not because she wants to be a hero and feed the town, but because she wants to earn a good living for her family, she unintentionally ends up benefiting everybody with awesome, affordable bread. It's how individual ambition, when channeled through competition in the market, can end up creating widespread prosperity for society. Now, hold on. This does not mean Smith wanted some kind of Wild West with no rules. Not at all. He was super clear that the market needs a referee. He laid out three basic but crucial duties for the government. First, protect society from invasion. You need a national defense. Second, uphold justice. You need to protect people from getting ripped off or hurt by others. And third, provide public works. These are the big, important things like roads, bridges, and schools that are essential for everyone, but wouldn't be profitable for any single company to build on its own.
So let's boil this all down. What's the modern takeaway for you? Number one, the division of labor. This is a blueprint for your career. Specialize. Get really, really good at a high-demand skill. That's how you boost your own economic value. Number two, real versus nominal wealth. Don't just stuff cash under your mattress where inflation can eat it away. You've got to invest your money, turn it into capital that actually creates more value. And finally, learn to love competition. Seriously, as a consumer, competition is your absolute best friend. It's what drives companies to give you better products at lower prices.
And that's pretty much the code. It's not just some dry economic theory. It's a whole new way of seeing the world around you. So the next time you buy a coffee, or think about your job, or hear politicians arguing about the economy, you'll actually understand the hidden mechanics behind it all. So the real question isn't just what Adam Smith thought 200 years ago. It's this: now that you have the code, what part of your world are you going to see differently?